great pleasure. I'll talk about a paper that I published in 2022 in the Anthropocene Review. It was titled Taming Gaia 2.0. In that context, what tipping also means, tipping points means, thresholds mean, and that basically Earth system governance has to be implemented appropriately to steer the direction of the Earth system towards a safe and just or stabilized Earth. So that's basically the picture. A safety fence which is set up somewhere here before the threshold, because nobody knows where the threshold exactly is. Differentiate two types of Anthropocenes, to early Anthropocene and ruptured Anthropocene, so the Anthropocene before the tipping point and Anthropocene after the tipping point. And I will not explain everything in the table, but depending on where your system is trying to capture what is required of international environmental law 2.0 in the ruptured Anthropocene. You can also. So finally, the Anthropocene, to summarize, the Anthropocene rupture requires a corresponding state shift in the way we think about the past and future.
My main argument is that industrialized war is a hyperobject which transcends time and place. There we go, the hyperobject. I marked it in the town of Luang Prabang in northern Laos in April of 2019, where I came across this boy who was selling neatly arranged bottle openers and bracelets. And next to him was a sign that read, I'm going to read it to you. These bracelets were bombs. We make bracelets, not war. Our bracelets are made from the aluminium dropped in our country during the secret wars since 64 to 75. 80 million cluster munitions failed to detonate during the war. So they are still sitting in Laos live. So the unequal power relationships and imbalanced distribution of war waste as involuntary heritage can thus not be studied in isolation from its far-reaching material and socio-economic effects. So I have argued in this book here, a little bit of self-promotion, that industrialized conflict can be understood as a hyperobject.
The research question is, how can the energy citizenship literature enhance current understandings on the ways individuals shape socio-technical transitions? So this is the theory. Basically, there are different levels. We make little niche innovations, right? They're little niche technological innovations, and then they move into the socio-technical regime, where they have markets, user preferences, industry, science, policy, culture, and technology, and then these niche innovations impact socio-technical regime over time, right? And then there's landscape, which is all the exogenous and external variables kind of stay, and then that also impacts socio-technical regime, but you can also see that the niche innovations kind of pass through. So what this shows is how little technological transitions and technological innovations. Going back to the theory, the NLP, we argue that situating individuals' emotional and intellectual connections is important in the discussion of NLP. We also argue that actors promote energy systems in a very important way, and that I also want to note that NLP is a fluid and temporal process, so it changes over time, right? It's never a static thing, and it should not only discuss powerful actors such as industry and government, but individuals must be considered.